Hey everybody, Jimmy back with the Triple C Collective for another Turtle Tuesday commentary track. Today we're going to be diving into Season 2, Episode 11, Teenagers from Dimension X. Uh, in this episode, we get the return of the neutrinos, and this was a really fun episode to dive back into. And fuck you, airplanes that are going over. We're gonna do a take two here in a minute. And 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, Jimmy back with the Triple C Collective for another Turtle Tuesday commentary track. Today we're diving into Season 2, Episode 11, Teenagers from Dimension X. We get the return of the neutrinos, which is really awesome and interesting because we just recently had the pre-order for the neutrinos from NECA for the Toon version based off this animated series. That was a pre-order that was available from March 8th until the 17th. So that's closed now. You should be able to find those. Usagi was also released at that same time for pre-order. You should be able to see those hopefully in Targets near you, maybe later this year. Don't really know how all of that will go with like production and all of those things. But if you missed out on the pre-order, they should be in Target stores and stuff later this year or early 2023. So let's dive into the episode then. The episode opens with the turtles watching, some monster movies, some creature features, if you will. And it always warms my heart when we see the turtles do stuff like that because I love creature features myself. And it's just a fun little way to open the episode. They're talking about how they don't watch love stories, or there are no love stories in these things, which brings somehow Raphael to ask Michelangelo, oh yeah, speaking of love stories, what about your love story with that neutrino? And I think that neutrino Kyla is how you say it. And Michelangelo then goes into this little flashback of the neutrinos and them and all of that. It's really funny. It's really interesting because as someone who's just been doing this rewatch relatively recently, I don't really remember them really touching on that in the first episode in season 1 when we first were introduced to the neutrinos. So it was really funny to see them come back and stuff into this, and for them to work in now this love story with Michelangelo. Then we get a cut back to the neutrinos in Dimension X. The neutrinos are flying around in Dimension X in their one car because the other one was left with the turtles and then crashed in episode 5 of season 1. It's a great bit. It's really funny. But here the neutrinos are driving around. They see the Technodrome. They go to check it out, and they're trying to see if anything's going on there, if they can get into it. They start talking about the last time they saw this was when they were back on Earth with Michelangelo, and that's when Kyla looks at her picture of Michelangelo, and she has that same moment that Michelangelo had a little bit earlier of the little flashback of them having a relationship that I don't really remember them having, but hey, whatever. As they're kind of going around checking out the Technodrome, the neutrinos, some more, they pick up a transmission from Krang, and from Krang and Shredder talking about if a neuro neutralizer is ready, they need 10 million megahertz to be able to run the neutrinos say that that's interesting because the 10 million or the 10 trillion, sorry, megahertz to run the neutrinos car dimensional portal is the same amount of energy that Krang and Shredder need to run their neutralizer. Um, Krang is delivering the neutralizer to Shredder to put the turtles on. Like, he wants to use this neutralizer to be able to take control. Krang does, to be able to take control of the turtles, to neutralize them, and then put them on, like, basically on display as, like, captured like freaks, basically captured mutants is kind of what Krang says, and just kind of put them on display and, like, I don't know, have them, just sell tickets or whatever, like, to, I don't know, amusement park or something like that for the turtles. The neutrinos then, since they overheard the conversation about the power and stuff, they know that they can open up the portal and get themselves in there, so that's what they do. They open up the portal to Earth and they shoot themselves in there. Krang and Shredder all freak out. And Shredder is like, I want them. We need to get them. The neutrinos then are back on Earth. They're trying to fly around and find the turtles. They're like, man, how can we find the turtles? New York is so big. This place is so big. How do we find them? And eventually the neutrinos decide to find the turtles. The easiest way is to get on the news, because they have that friend, and basically the turtles can always see the news of what's happening, going on, or what's happening in the city, so that they can come and, save the day as they do, be the heroes in a half shell that they are. And the turtles then get a call from April saying, like, hey, there's this, like, flying car around here. I'm pretty sure it's the neutrinos. And then they finally kind of, like, meet up. They start after they hear this, they don't meet up yet. Raphael, like, makes a joke about, like, Kayla just couldn't stay away. Shredder is heading to Channel 6 because he saw the report of the neutrinos and all of that, so he assumed, again, he should go there as as well. The turtles and the neutrinos are flying together. The neutrinos, as the turtles and neutrinos are flying together, they are shot out of the air by Bebop and Rocksteady. They're kidnapped, the neutrinos are, by Bebop and Rocksteady, while the turtles are escaping in their glider from the blimp, but it can't, like, follow Bebop and Rocksteady. They, like, lose control. We cut back to the turtles again. The turtles are back in the lair, and they're trying to figure out the best way to make their new plan of how to get the neutrinos back, of how to stop Shredder, Krang, Bebop, and Rocksteady. How do we stop them all? And they decide that they need to be zen. They need to calm. Donnie starts coming up with a new design. He makes a motorized skateboard. He calls it the Cheapskate, which is really awesome, because he just makes a motorized skateboard out of old cheap parts, so he calls it a cheapskate. It's awesome. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Stuff like this that made me, like, fall in love with this show so many years ago when I first saw it. Coming back in here now, doing these rewatches and, like, doing the commentary tracks for him and stuff is so much fun. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and then, like, now having doing these commentary tracks, and then also having, like, toys that come out in, like, relation to some of the episodes and stuff that I've been doing and everything, has been a lot of fun. It's been really cool. We get Donnie making the cheapskates so that he can use the device to track the neutrinos' radiation, because they're from a signal that the neutrinos give off, because they're originally from Dimension X, not from Earth's dimension, and so since they're from there, they give off, like, a different signal of some kind. Donatello is able to track it based on their earlier, the first time they met him and like the relationship that they built or whatever over that time. And so for this, then they start going to track and look for the neutrinos. We cut back to the neutrinos. The neutrinos start to like come to in Bebop and Rocksteady's, still in their clutches, and they're in an amusement park. Shredder's also shown up there. The thing that Shredder is pressing the neutrinos for is their device that they use to open the portal, because that's what Shredder is always looking to do, try and open a portal to Dimension X so that he can continue, so that he can finally bring his foot soldier army over and take over Earth. And then Krang also wants to be a part of that, and they can rule it all together, except we all know they're not going to rule it all together, because even if Krang and Shredder win at some point, it's not going to happen. Those two will end up killing each other before they're ever able to rule together. Let's just be honest here now. Come on. So yeah, this has all been a lot of fun. The neutrinos are like, well, we don't have any device. It was built into the car. If you want to figure out how to open up the portal or anything like that, you're going to have to find the car. You're going to have to find the car, because that's the only way to do it. That's how we were able to do it. And, Shredder's just mumbling about how hard it is to find decent help and all of that. The Turtles are on their cheapskates. They're heading towards Shredder. Shredder's car or van that he brought to the amusement park and stuff is towed away just as the Turtles are arriving on their motorized scooters. We get Raphael saying that this guy is as sharp as a bowling ball. The Turtles are like dodging, like we get a nice little fight here and stuff. We don't necessarily get the typical fight music that I'm so very fond of and everything. The Turtles are dodging the fire. The neutrinos get a roller coaster restarting and get on there. The Turtles and neutrinos are able to get off the roller coaster. Shredder and Bebop are still, and like Rocksteady are still riding the roller coaster. The Turtles and the neutrinos are able to escape on the cheapskates and figure out the next steps. Now, since Shredder doesn't have a way to get to the neutrino car, but Shredder knows that they need to get to the neutrino car, the neutrinos let the Turtles know, like, hey, we need the car, because that's what he's trying to do, is to get the portal and to get the portal open and all of that. Donatello's like, well, sweet, this little device that I use to track you guys, I can change it to track the emissions that your car leaves. Just like the same way that I was able to fine-tune it to track you guys, and that's how we were able to find you. This is great. It's awesome because the Turtles are able to find the car first. And are able to find the car and get to the car. Shredder's all like mad and angry. Oh, this isn't fair. It's just not fair. It's just not fair. Doing his little Shredder complaint and stuff that we all just love. It's great. I love Shredder. Got my Shredder geeky jersey on. Love it. Once the Turtles and neutrinos are able to escape with the car, they try and open up the portal and like do some stuff with it, and they realize that they can't. They pop the hood like anyone else does to their car to check and see what's going on, and they see that the crystal that is powering their car is cracked and not completely like shattered, but it's cracked and it's broken, and it's not like emitting the power that I guess it's supposed to be, or correctly, I guess. So the neutrinos are like, man, the only way we can fix this is with a particle accelerator. Which if you're a fan of the Flash, you probably know what a particle accelerator is, or at least have an idea of how they work. So that's what they're looking for here. I do not know enough about them other than what I have seen on the CW Flash show and how all of that worked. So that's my knowledge of particle accelerators, and it seems pretty straightforward here as like virtually the same idea. And so Leonardo, being the leader that he is, he knows where to go. He knows where to lead the team to. And Leonardo knows that there is a particle accelerator in a like basement of like a warehouse or something. It's abandoned when they get there. They turn on the machine. The machine works, which is like all of this is crazy that Leonardo just knows of this random particle accelerator in this old abandoned like basement of a building. They turn it on and it works. They start trying to fix. They run the machine, have the crystal in there. The crystal is being fixed. It's emitting all this power. It's like almost like ready to like explode, getting to peak capacity. But bam, the crystal's fixed, so everything is all good. We get a cut back to Krang and Shredder. Or Krang calling Shredder, trying to get an update. Krang is saying that, you know, Shredder, I've picked up a huge power surge. And Shredder's all shocked, like, oh my god, how are you able? Where'd it come from? Because that's where the turtles are. That's where we need to go. We get a cut back to the turtles. Donatello, he says he's got it under control. Shredder arrives outside of the abandoned building, sees the neutrino car is there. Shredder and Bebop and Rocksteady enter the building. There is a robot, like kind of security guard type thing or whatever there, and that robot is shot, you know, point blank by Bebop, Rocksteady, and Shredder. Shredder's just like, oh yeah, here's our identification, show him it, and he just shoots him, you know, doing the classic villain thing, like where they're like, oh yeah, I have this thing for you, and then bam, they shoot you, they kill you because they're villains and they're shady. So Shredder then, as Bebop and Rocksteady and Shredder get past that robot, then they are able to stun and knock out the turtles and the neutrinos, steal the neutrino car, and steal the neutrino car and get out of there. The turtles then are able to get a distress call off to April, who then goes to try and find the turtles, only to find the neutrinos were left behind. The turtles were taken with Shredder, Bebop, and Rocksteady in the neutrino car, and April shows up in her in the van, picks up the neutrinos. It's like, we got to get out of here. We're in a bad neighborhood. There's a gang that runs this place, and if you're in here too long, they get all mad. April and the neutrinos are chased by the cyberpunks. Side note, if you just gave us a 3-pack of neutrinos, there's at least 3 cyberpunks that you that are in this. So let's give us NECA, you know, Super 7, whoever. Give us cyberpunk toys on motorcycles. If you wanted, I do another thing with some other turtle people. It's over on the Turtle Lair on Ninja Turtle Talk. So we were talking about some stuff on there. Shout out to Lee and Ben, Turtle Lair. And we were talking about like different toys and stuff on there. That's mainly what we do. Sorry about this little tidbit here. But in this, we were talking about vehicles that we would like NECA and other things to bring out, like the Technodrome, the Party Wagon, the Blimp themselves. Playmates has done that stuff. They have released old versions from the early 90s and stuff. It's been really great to see those toys and stuff come back. But this would be a perfect way to start introducing some vehicles and stuff, NECA, with like a 3-pack of like Cyberpunks, just saying. Anyhow, back into the episode now, not talking about toys. So the the cyberpunks are chasing the neutrinos, and April, they eventually get out. They're able to escape the cyberpunks, April and the neutrinos. The turtles are waking up to Shredder, showing them that mental neutralizer, so that their brains are drained. So their brains are drained. They're all kind of like out of it. Shredder starts activating the portal. Mikey, it like they start making jokes as they're like starting to get drained. Like Mikey doesn't have that much to lose, so you got to be careful. Raphael is just ripping into everybody as he does. April and like I said, April and the neutrinos then stop the cyberpunks. They start making their way towards Shredder. The turtles, to try and save them. We get Shredder. We get a cutback to Shredder. Shredder is unable to move as the turtles are starting to escape, and the neutralizer isn't working, and there's like power issues and stuff. The turtles escape. They're no longer like neutralized. Bebop and Rocksteady are just shooting out aimlessly at them. They shoot ropes that totally free the turtles then, and the fight music kicks in. Then we get Bebop and Rocksteady and Shredder trying to escape and fight. They're confronted by the cyberpunks. They're like, "What are you doing here? Hit the road." The neutrinos activate a force field alarm on the car that like blows them all like kind of away. We get the final goodbyes basically of the neutrinos saying goodbye. We're gonna really miss you guys. Kyla is saying like, especially you, Mikey, we're really gonna miss you. And Michelangelo's like, well, I got this for you. And he gives her an Earth pizza. And they say their goodbyes. The neutrinos go through the portal. And, Raphael is saying, like, you probably won't see... Michelangelo is talking with Raphael and his brothers. And is like, I probably won't see Kayla again. But I will, and they're like... And Raphael's like, yeah, that's true. But you know what? With her being gone now, you do gain an extra portion of pizza. So, glass half full in that kind of sense with Raphael. And we know Michelangelo loves his pizza. So my name's Jimmy Clark. Thank you for joining us here on the Triple C Collective for this commentary track for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Season 2, Episode 11, Teenagers from Dimension X. We will see you next Tuesday, Turtle Tuesday. Thanks. Have a great day.